Oh, holy shit!
This is our friend Matthew Lillard. You might know him from movies such as Scream, Scooby-Doo, Hackers, SLC Punk, and most recently, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Which brings us to today's project. We are taking on our biggest build ever, making Matt's Springtrap costume from the FNAF movie.
But wait! There's more!
This won't just be a regular Springtrap costume. Instead, we're mashing it up with one of Matt's other legendary villains, Ghostface.
But shh, Matt doesn't know that surprise is our twist ending.
Surprise, Sydney.
So the idea behind our design is that inside, underneath, the true essence, the true evil of this costume is actually Ghostface. So as a chunk of the head is tearing off, you're gonna see the bony skull of Ghostface starting to reveal itself. We're gonna have these sparkly robes protruding through. And there's that battle damage portion on Matt's stomach. We're gonna have the Stu sweater showing through, all bloody with a knife in it. And let's not forget about the foot. Normally, Springtrap has one of those mechanical robot feet sticking out, but our version is gonna have the Scream boot ripping through as that foot just sort of falls apart and withers away. We're very excited about this design. Now, the only question is, can we actually pull it off?
And the answer is, we don't know. We've never built a costume this insanely complicated before.
Which means we need to figure out what materials to use, how to make a pattern, how costumes like these are even put together, how to add fur on top of it, and then how to age it so it looks just like the one in the movie. It's a lot to do.
But luckily, we have a few friends who have worked at Jim Henson Creature Shop, which is the company that made the costumes, and they're gonna give us some pointers.
But first, let's sit down and talk to William Afton himself and get some insider information. Get it? Insider information?
Oh, yeah, we get it.
Because he was inside the costume.
Yeah.
Time for Matt's tips. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Hi! Hi, everyone! Hi, you guys coming in? Welcome to my tiny door home!
I know, I feel like we're in a little hobbit house right here. Let's go to the Shire, come on.
We don't want you.
Okay, we are Springtrapifying this guy.
You guys doing it, I think, makes so much sense because it's a huge cosplay opportunity.
Yeah.
People take great amount of pride in building their own costumes. It's not like you can go out and buy a Spider-Man costume.
Yeah.
You can't go out and buy a Springtrap.
Speaking of, what was it like to be in that suit?
The first time I put it on, I was like, it was a little overwhelming. I mean, it was super hot. I mean, that costume, one thing is you have to know is that costume is hot.
Okay, so build some fans or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you can build fans.
Well, little computer fans, yeah, they do those in costumes all the time.
Well, they didn't in mine. You also can't see very well. And then look, you always have to be ready. It breaks. I mean, phone pieces break. My thumb would fall off constantly. Like, as an actor, just as as you're putting it on, you have to learn what is the thing that gets you into character. There's something I do in all my work that sort of gets my body going and wakes me up. For this character, I had like this whole gorilla sound thing I was doing, which is so.
Give us a little sample?
No, I don't want to. That's terrible. I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Okay.
You have to find your own. But I had this gorilla sort of guttural thing that I was doing to sort of load in. It's so funny because the first time I put it on, I couldn't see myself. Right, because I'm on set. And so I would look at myself there's this big reflection in the double doors. And so I was looking at myself and trying to figure out how I move.
Is there a walk I need to learn?
No, you should find your own Springtrap.
Okay.
You should find your own yellow rabbit. Let it inform you.
I feel
That's
like my walk,
thing.
because I'm so tall and gangly, is just gonna be don't fall over on the platform shoes.
Your freedom of movement is definitely restricted.
Okay.
So, but you have to express yourself. So you've got to find ways to move that make you look menacing.
Through,
And so the first time I was in the suit was that I come in under the sort of arch.
Oh yeah. So that's the reveal.
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, what does this look like? How do how do I in this moment look powerful? How do you sort of here comes this.
While feeling so weighed down.
Well, and my whole thing is I wanted to be Darth Vader in that moment. I wanted to have this entrance where you're oh, this dude's bad. Okay. So as you put on the suit, just ask yourself, how bad am I?
Yeah. That'll be the mantra. Thank you.
Hey, good luck. May the force be with you, and
we'll check back in once we have it done.
I can't wait to see
what
it.
we made.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be epic. Yeah. What do you guys think? Epic? Totally epic.
As we mentioned, we have friends that have worked at Jim Henson Creature Shop, so we tapped them for all the juicy details of what we're gonna need to build this costume. Now, mind you, we've never worked with these materials before, unless you count that 3D audio head that I built, which didn't really look like a head, looked more like an Easter Island statue. So this is gonna be a challenge. Now, if you wanna see our full discussion with Melissa, as well as our friend Dio, who was supposed to be in this video until she got hired on Five Nights at Freddy's 2, how cool is that? Head on over to our Patreon. We're gonna have both of them up there as bonus content, and you can learn from the pros just like we did. First thing we need is a pattern. Now, I've never actually made a pattern before, but don't worry, because I'm gonna figure it out. We need a model of Springtrap, and Melissa said they sometimes make them out of clay.
I sculpted the form out of clay. It can be a water-based clay, it can be like monster clay.
But my sculpting skills are nowhere near that level yet. Luckily, I found this incredibly screen accurate and free 3D model pack from DeviantArt user Ubuntutu. There's a few ways we can bring this model from the digital world to the real world. Now, you can do this on the computer with apps like Pepakura or Armorsmith, but I've decided to go the old school route and print out scaled down versions in miniature, like this one. You know what that is?
Looks like a foot.
It tasted like a foot.
It really does. Now, if you're wondering why Springtrap looks like Harvey Dent, it's because for the most part, this costume is pretty much symmetrical. So that means we only have to make one half of the pattern because the left side will be the same pattern as the right, only inverted. Printing only half the model will not only save on filament, but also time. Now you might be asking, what scale do I print the miniature at? I don't really know, I didn't do proper math. I scaled it up to 15,000% because when you open these models in Cura, they were like teensy tiny. We don't wanna just put tape on the model because then once we take it off, the back side of it's gonna be sticky and the pieces can stick together or they can stick on themselves and then you're trying to peel it apart and you've just ruined your pattern. By laying the plastic down, when we take the tape off, the tape will no longer be sticky on the back. I'm a cybernetic organism sent from the future to teach you how to use EVA foam. All right, that's dumb. All right, time to solve the biggest mystery, which is where do we draw our pattern lines? As the old saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a yellow rabbit. Pretty sure that's what the saying is.
You just have to keep in mind that your goal is to make this rounded, textured surface lay flat. That is the absolute goal to keep in mind.
Got our patterns all cut out. Time to trace our pattern onto some paper. What we need is a frame of reference so we can make sure that we're scaling them up to the right size. Now, what I normally do is draw a 1" by 1" scale onto the pattern. That way, when I bring it to the computer, I'll know that that square is exactly 1" by 1". Okay, the head's done. Now we just have to do that for every other piece of the costume. No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We'll just time lapse it. All right, check it out. Our head pattern is done. Now all we have to do is cut it out and notch our registration marks. Man, this thing is huge. It is huge, isn't it? Oh man, wow. This is, I really hope we have enough foam. This is only half the head and the torso is gonna be massive. And then, wow, what a choice for our first EVA foam costume build. I mean, most people would start small, do like a very simple helmet, but that's not really our style, is it? So yeah. Psst, come here. Melissa gave us an insider secret from the Jim Henson Creature Shop that we want to share with you.
For us, L200 is what we use and what we call it.
It's just as workable as EVA foam, but it's even cheaper.
And we're not talking like a teeny tiny bit cheaper, we're talking 3 times cheaper. We got this giant roll of L200 for 50 bucks. These little sheets of EVA foam are $15 each. You'd have to buy 10 of these to equal the same amount of foam you're getting with the L200.
It also comes in different densities. So if you need something a little stiffer, go with L300, but if you need something a little softer and pliable, go with L100.
Next, we're gonna trace this pattern onto the foam. Now you'll notice I have a bunch of pins to hold the pattern to the foam, so when we trace it, it doesn't move. You'll also notice that our foam is black, which means a black Sharpie, if we trace this, is gonna be really hard to see. So I'm using a silver Sharpie. It's gonna show up nice and bright. To cut these out, I'll be using a normal utility knife here. Now you might be wondering why I have this piece of paper taped to my cutting mat. Now as we're cutting these foam pieces out, even though it's soft foam, our blade is going to dull. And yeah, you can sharpen it using paper. And angle the blade and just drag it across the surface nice and evenly, do both sides. And every so often when you start to feel it dragging, just go ahead and sharpen it up. Stay sharp. Now let's go ahead and cut this out. Yeah, let's do a Wayne's World transition this time. All right, everything is cut out so we can get glue in. I'm gonna be using barge glue. It's great for cosplay and perfect for EVA foam.
Whatever foam you're using, you'll just take a little wedge of that same foam, dip it into the barge, and then you'll tap and you'll get like kind of spider strings that will come up. You're just pulling those across the surface. And that's another Henson thing.
Get all little cute dogs out of the room. We don't have a dog mask.
While he's doing that,
Check it out. Matt signed our Springtrap head. Ah, how cool is that?
and he signed some other stuff too.
Yeah, and this stuff's actually for you guys. So if you want to find out how you can win these lovely items, head on over to our Patreon page.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Dude, it's becoming real. Look at this. We got half of Springtrap's head. Gotta be honest, like I've never done this before, so I didn't know how it was gonna turn out. My first pattern. Yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of this. This is pretty awesome. All right, I'm gonna glue the rest of this together and we're gonna have a finished head. While we finish all the other pieces, we'd love to take this moment to thank our loyal patrons, both of them. A big thank you to my dear friend Justin Radowitz and Mama Flater for helping to support this channel. All right, it's time to do some dentistry. Yeah, baby! So these teeth actually aren't glued in yet. These are only being held in place with toothpicks to make sure I have all of the orientation right. I'm gonna get these teeth glued in and keep moving. Time to do some damage, oh yeah. While going through the photos that Matt sent us, I noticed that the fleshy damage on the helmet was actually more of a yellow color, and everywhere else on the body was that black burnt color. Now, keeping with the continuity of Scream and Ghostface, we're gonna do all of our damage in the black color. Now, here's a fun fact for all you diehard FNAF fans. In some of the photos Matt sent us, the damage was more of a fleshy red color. It looked more like Freddy Krueger gore. I wonder if they changed this to get the PG-13 rating, or if it was just a production design choice. Comment below and let me know which one you like better. Do you like the black or the fleshy gore? To create the damage, I'll be using my trusty wood burner set to a medium-high temperature. Then I'll seal the film with some Mod Podge before I apply my final coat of black Plastidip. I forgot to film me Plastidipping the head, so here's a leg piece instead. And like with our barge glue, make sure you wear a respirator and do this outside or in a well-ventilated room. Do you hear that? It's time to make some ears. I'm not actually using 3D printed ears. These are just full-size models, so I know what shape I need to make. Because I'm a woodworker at heart, and we love keeping every little scrap of wood because someday we're gonna use it. We're not gonna use it, which is exactly why we have this. Oh, there's some of the wood I was talking about. This giant bag of foam. So there's a bunch of different types of foam in here. I think I'm gonna use the furniture foam, and it means I get to use this bad boy. Now, this is just an ordinary electric kitchen knife, but it's great for cutting foam. I'm excited to do this because I haven't done any actual carving before. I kind of feel like one of those guys with the chainsaws that cuts the ice sculptures. I gotta say, these came out a lot better than I thought they would. This was actually really fun to carve this up and kind of figure out how to do it. This is how I did the damage. I basically took a piece of EVA foam and inserted it into each ear and carved the damage in. So I have one of our ears here roughly in place. I want to show you how I did this. So what I actually got at the dollar store was just a pack of floral wire. First of all, I made marks on the bottom of roughly where it lines up with the holes that I drilled, line up a chopstick and just poke it through, just tape them together. So now they're attached, and as I pull the chopstick through, I can feed this and boom, comes right through. And you untape it, or you get ready to put on your next segment. So that's the ears, that's how they go on, but it's looking pretty cool. Whoa, man. All right. As you can see, it's fabric time. Sadly, Joann Fabrics is going out of business.
What do you mean?
But that meant huge sales, so we took advantage of that and went to multiple stores to buy the crap out of all of the fleece we could get our hands on. We've just been running this stuff through the washer and dryer to kind of get it to pill up on us. And then our friend Melissa was kind enough to make a video for us teaching us the Henson stitch. That'll be available on our Patreon, so check that out if you want to learn from someone at Henson how to do the Henson stitch, aka the ladder stitch. I have my pool noodle, I have a scrap of fabric, so I'm gonna get practicing before we start working on the full costume. A few hours later. All right, so I've moved on to a more complicated piece. The diaper. I've laid the fabric over this. I've tried to bunch everything up on like the hip areas, and we'll use a Henson stitch to hide it all. Now in Matt's costume, there's multiple seams. I noticed there's seams in the crotch and the side. Kind of surprised that I can see the seams. They didn't make them quite as invisible as I would have expected. So that takes the pressure off me, I guess. All right, the diaper is done. Check that out. I didn't cut out the sections where our damage is, which is right here. I'm gonna do that after. That way I can just do a little slice and then kind of slowly cut wider and wider to expose the damaged area. And then I'm gonna glue down the edge of the damaged area. So that's why I wrapped it first and I dealt with the damage after. Only a million more pieces to go. All right, it's time to Work on the eyes. Feel like Mad Eye Moody. Where am I looking, Potter? So I have this half ornament that you can take into 2 pieces and put it over like an eyelid. I have this 2mm EVA foam that I'm gonna use for that metal ring that's around the outside of the eye. I'll cut that out and then paint it so it looks metallic and rusty. Got my finished eyeball here. I have to figure out how to mount it in there. Also need to put an LED light to shine through. It's not perfect because I hand painted it. It's a little wonky, but it'll work. What I'm really excited about is I painted that with glow-in-the-dark paint, so when I shine the light through it, if we turn the light off, I'm sure the eyes are gonna still glow a little bit. That's not canon or anything. I just love glow-in-the-dark paint, so I try to use it whenever I can. I also have the buttons. In our photos, we noticed there was some slight damage, so I do want to add a little bit of just some dimples and some damage on there. And I'll finish these up with some Mod Podge and Plastidip. Attaching our buttons, I used a soldering iron just to warm up a nut, and I inset it. That'll then allow me to take a washer and a bolt, and that way our buttons can just screw right into place. There it is. There is my quick and dirty bow tie. I started by making a wire frame of the bow tie using an old coat hanger. I then wrapped it in the purple fleece. Now once the bow tie was assembled, I wanted to give it the same finish as in the movie. It kind of looks matted down and it's not as fluffy as regular fleece. So I did a mixture of purple paint mixed in with the Mod Podge, applied that on there, and it looked great. I left 2 of these prongs sticking out of the back so I can poke it through the foam and then twist tie them on the inside. All right, our bow tie is attached. All right, it's time for us to add our special sauce. We are integrating Ghostface into the Springtrap costume. I'm very nervous about this portion of the build because it means we have to do surgery on this beautiful cranium here. But I think just to play it safe, I'll start by doing the jaw first to make sure we're on the right track before we do any permanent damage to the head. Oh, hey there. So Flater brought up a very important point. I didn't factor in the body, so the jaw cannot fully go down into the scream expression that we want. And great, I got marker on my nose again. Wonderful. So yeah, back to the drawing board. Time to work on this eye. I'm gonna use the white foam clay and sculpt all of this eye texture. I've never really sculpted before and I've never used foam clay before, so we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. Let's see what we come up with. I kind of feel like that scene in Ghost. I just need Patrick Swayze to just come upon behind me.
Hey, where's the battery for the...
Ooh. Swayze. I just kept applying water and smoothing it out until I got a result I was happy with. Can I be honest? I freaking love this stuff. It is looking pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. Ooh, I really don't want to have to cut into this. It looks so good. Here we go. Oh no. Oh, this hurts my soul. Ah. Oh, look at that. Thing's coming to life. We will need to heat form this to shape. Oh. Oh no, it just cracked. Oh, cracked it.
Say crack again.
Crack.
I do want to touch inside and see if it's still wet. Oh, yeah, it's still soft inside. Definitely want to wait the 24 hours to dry so I don't crack it. Back here, we're gonna do an exposed skull. I want to add a really fun detail, which is one of those coronal suture lines. Whenever you see a skull, it's got like a little zigzag line on there. So I'm gonna see if I can recreate that on the back. Look at that head. Oh my goodness, does that look awesome? And then we have a big chunk of skull exposed in the back here. Because we did weaken the exterior shell, we are getting a little bit more warping. Kind of looks like Sloth from the Goonies. But I'll fix that later when we attach the helmet. We'll do some chipping away of the snout here because that's gonna blend into the damage that travels over to the nose. And what I'm thinking is maybe I have to cut a hole in here, kind of have this coming out from the inside, like poking through. And then when I make a clay nose to fit around there, I think that's gonna be pretty dope. These are surprisingly close. Now, they're not fully accurate. These are not the same as the original Sears Reebok boots that were in the first movie, but it does have the rounded square toe, which I love. Check it out. We got the Stu boot. One regular shoe and one boot. One shoe, one boot.
My man, your boot.
So basically what I did was I reshaped these around the boot and then I used the barge glue to glue them to the boot. And then I worked foam clay all around it to give it that sort of morphing, melting away skin look. For the stomach wound, we hit the thrift store and found the perfect Stu sweater material. It just so happened to be a woman's backless crop top. I'm gonna grab another beer. You want one? I'll be right back. Get it? We're going to take the Stu Macher sweater. Look at how good this is. This is like the exact color. It's the perfect ribbing. Everything about this looks awesome. Now, in order to cut this out, what I'm gonna do is I'll use some fray blocker to make sure it doesn't start unraveling. Cut out the piece. We will glue it to the foam. We'll bloody it up, and I'm gonna have a little slit where the knife can go in. So we have the damage from Five Nights at Freddy's with the wound from Scream, which I think is pretty cool. So the knife is gonna go just to the side.
Don't forget, stay to the side and don't go too deep.
I don't want to cut up the knife. Like normally I was thinking, oh, we'll just cut off the front of the knife and glue it into a block of foam. But I thought it'd be kind of cool if we could take the knife out and use it for photos, because in the movie Five Nights at Freddy's, Matt has a knife. That's a different knife, but with our crossover mashup, we can have a little bit of both. We're getting very close. It's exciting, but also nerve-wracking because we're on a massive time crunch. I think we have like a little over a week before no, shoot, it is a week. We're leaving in like a week for LA. I gotta go. I can't, what am I rambling for? I gotta go. We're gonna be adding the ghost tendrils that are gonna be coming off of the arm, as well as a glove. Now, most people that aren't Scream super fans don't know this, but the original Ghostface robe wasn't just a solid black. It actually had a metallic fiber woven into it. It was a little shiny. Now, this was made from a fabric that had this Lorex material woven into it, the shiny metallic strands. It's no longer manufactured, so it's really hard to come by. We looked out and found this stuff at the Joann Fabrics sale. Someone posted a full pattern of the 1996 Scream costume. I'll post a link for that below. It's not my pattern, it's someone else's, but I use it as a reference. I had to change the measurements because these dimensions don't match. Obviously I have a gap here. There's 3 segments total, and they each have 2 little splits at the bottom. Check it out. Oop, now I'm dropping shit. Funny thing was, I was showing this to Flater and she's like, really? That's the shape? That's not what I pictured the pattern for the Scream robes to look like. And yeah, they do change every movie, but this is the calf. So this will have a little bit of the bottom frillies coming out over the boot. This is one of the actual Scream worn ones that sold at auction. It's really tattered and irregular because this fabric is stretchy. If you just tug on them, it gives it these really cool looking little curls, and it looks how it actually looks in the movie here. Yeah, and that's looking really cool. Tick tock, tick tock. Because we're really in a crunch, I need to call for some reinforcements. Flater, come in, over.
Go for Flater, over.
I have a mission for you, should you choose to accept it. Meet me in the garage, ASAP.
Copy that, over.
Over. All right, we're gonna get some help. Over again. Over and out.
I'm here, over.
All right.
What can I do for you?
I need to enlist your master sewing machine skills for this next part. So I attempted to make the Scream glove with some of the fabric and a glue gun and take my strong hand. This did not turn out great. I think maybe it could have worked if I wasn't doing it one-handed. Okay.
Maybe.
I'm delusional. Anyways, I need you to make the Scream glove for me. So I have a bunch of fabric.
Okay.
And I made you this little template of my hand.
Oh, great.
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving turkey style.
Very handy.
And I also have one other task for you. So I am strapped for time. So I was wondering if you could make me some little strappy doos. So we want to be able to like click these things together as we assemble the suit.
Yes.
How's that sound?
Okay.
All right, sound good? You got it? All right, good luck. Oh. Okay. High five. All right, so you think you can handle that?
Yes, I can handle it.
High five. All right, good luck. Godspeed. While she works on the Scream glove, I'm gonna work on the Springtrap glove, which means split screen time lapse. Oh! Andrea nailed her glove on her first attempt. It's truly amazing what she can do. But for me, it took like 3 or 4 iterations before I got mine just right. I feel like Thanos right now. I am inevitable.
Knock, knock.
Come in.
Special delivery.
Ooh, what do we got here?
Lots of stuff and things. We got all your patches and straps.
Wow,
and
look at that.
buckles.
For a strapping young man.
Yeah. Suspenders, all of it.
So my diaper doesn't fall down. Essential.
Yeah. And the
Ooh.
glove.
Look at that.
It kind of feels like Michael Jackson.
It does. All right, let me try this bad boy on. Oh,
Ooh,
look at
okay.
that.
Cute.
Fits like a glove. This is a lot better than the little frogman hand that I have. This isn't even like a frog hand. It's like when they're between a tadpole and a frog and they're not fully developed. Speaking of gloves, hold on, I got a little surprise for you. Don't look.
Okay.
Oh
Oh my gosh. Dude, that came out so good. So good.
Talk to the
It
hands.
looks like real metal.
Yeah, those knuckles came out really good. And the fingers and everything. There's a good amount of movement in here. Give us a hand for these hands. Look at that.
We got this.
Why?
High five.
High five. Yeah. All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We're in the home stretch. All that's left is to do the final touches with paint and airbrushing. But the problem is, I've never airbrushed before, and this could make or break the entire costume. If I do this wrong, the whole thing, everything we've built up to this point, can get ruined in an instant. But I'm happy to announce it came out so good that Matt said this about it.
It's funny, a lot of times I'll see yellow, like just yellow,
Yeah.
and this is the right yellow.
Yeah?
I mean, just, as a quick note, it's like sometimes it'll be bright or it'll be a different shade. I mean, obviously there's so many different
Yeah.
variations, but this is 100% the right color.
To do this step, I got a bunch of cheap acrylics. I just got various yellows and browns and ochres, these are like rusty colors, and did some experimenting. I thinned them out because when you put stuff in an airbrush, it's gotta be thin and watery. Once I had a color that I was happy with, I just busted out the airbrush and started playing with it, just to get a feel for how the trigger works, the airflow, the paint flow. Let me show you one of my favorite pieces, which is the foot. Now for this, I really wanted to accentuate all these spaces and crevices in between the toes, so I just sprayed a little more heavily in those areas to really make it stand out. And then I did the typical texture on the rest of it. Just play around with it, practice on some scrap fabric, and you'll get the hang of it in no time. There was one thing that Lillard mentioned during our sit-down interview,
Is that costume is hot. I mean, it was super hot.
and this might be the solution. This is a cheap little cooling fan. It just circulates air into your shirt and just keeps it moving so you stay nice and cool. That's high speed. That's probably getting really loud for the mic. Oh geez, it's stuck. Should have put it on after. That was an ordeal. I'm already working up a sweat. All right, let me take the mic off so you're not in the wind tunnel. Blowing right on my neck, just giving a nice little airflow. Ooh, this would be awesome for cons because, you know, a lot of people sweating, it's hot. I think that's a pretty awesome little addition. So I'm gonna give this an approval. GeekGarage approved. There's one thing we absolutely have to talk about, and that's how we plan to transport this giant costume from Atlanta all the way to Los Angeles so we can reveal it to Lillard. It's actually not that heavy. I think it only comes out to about 12 pounds. It's insanely light, but we have to put it into a giant box. Trying to ship this thing is insanely expensive. The rates were like over $300 each way, but it's only $75 each way for the flight if we do oversized baggage. Now here's a pro tip that you absolutely must do. Do not skip this step, and that is to put an air tag inside the box with your costume. I'm not just gonna put this little air tag in here because we've got this. We've upgraded the air tag. This thing is an air tag case. You can put 2 batteries inside. These last a lot longer.
And then look, you always have to be ready. It breaks.
I highly recommend packing a little cosplay first aid kit just in case anything breaks while you're traveling. That's how we're doing it. If you got a better solution, drop it below. Give us any tips that we could use for the future. We packed this thing up and headed to the airport. Now it's time for the obligatory travel montage. Looks like it's been inspected.
I wonder who it is.
Special delivery.
Check it out.
Oh, that thing is huge. That's enormous. Is it gonna get through?
I think, yeah.
I got you. I was like, I made no effort to help. Did you see that? Stay nervous.
I'm very nervous.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Are you?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You guys worked a long time on this.
I know, this has been over a year in the
I
making.
hope it doesn't suck.
All right, this is it. This is the big moment. This is what everything's been leading up to.
My heart is racing right now because Matt still has no clue about the Ghostface mashup, and I can't believe we're about to see his reaction.
Can't even describe what it feels like to be putting on the Springtrap suit inside Matthew Lillard's house, and now the time has come to reveal it to him.
We have a surprise for you,
Okay.
actually, because you know there's always a twist.
Oh no. What does that mean?
What
Is there a dead child inside?
What you do know is that we were doing Springtrap Eye.
Yeah.
Well, what you didn't know is that we mashed it up with Ghostface.
What? Oh no! What? Holy shit! That is a mashup of all mashups! Dude, that is really good! That, I am genuinely shocked. Wow!
Stu-trap.
Oh, that's so good!
Do you recognize this sweater?
Of course. Oh, that's so good. Oh, you guys.
Got the boot?
Oh, the boot. Oh my gosh. The knife we know very well. We know the knife very well. The jaw is so good.
Oh, thanks. That was the part I was most nervous about.
The way you incorporated that is awesome. That is so, you never cease to surprise me. That's really good. Legitimately incredible. Come here, come look. Do you see that?
That rocks!
Isn't that good?
So funny.
Yeah, Addie works at the Jim Henson Creature Shop.
Yeah, I'm a junior fabricator.
So she has worked with the actual original costume.
I was literally just looking at that hand specifically yesterday.
And how does it compare?
Eerily similar, honestly.
Really?
It's kind of crazy.
It's my first time I've ever done anything with foam, fabric.
No shit.
This is my first
That's
costume.
crazy.
This is my daughter, but yes, and she's just not like we didn't just bring her over. Yeah. And look at the boot. You see the boot?
And the knife goes in here. He's got the knife and it goes right here.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Oh, I pulled it out. Yeah.
Oh, you pulled it out before I
Yeah.
saw it.
Goes in.
Oh, no way!
Remember, go to the side. Go to the side. Ah.
You're coming too deep.
And that's so good.
Dude, that is so. And then you see the arms?
crazy.
Do you see the arms? Somebody gave me this gift from set. It's a 1 of 1, but it's me in the costume
That's awesome.
in the last sequence of the first movie.
Yes.
Dude, you're pretty spot on.
The real reveal is that it's Bill under the whole time.
Yeah, the hand came out really good. I was nervous about that.
It's funny because you're grabbing a knife and
Yeah,
like, you're
your
really hard.
fingers end like here. That's
Yeah.
all- That's why it's nice to have this extra hand. I can
Oh yeah,
use.
that's good. Yeah, I didn't have that. Yeah.
You don't have that.
So what is this? Is this just plastic?
This is the foam that the whole costume's made out of.
Oh.
And then we did notice in one of the photos, like early photos, these were like painted red, like a little gorier and bloodier, but I don't know if they like PG-13 did and made everything black.
Well, yeah, Scott definitely does not like gore. He would
Yeah.
never go for the. Although the second movie's a lot gorier. I mean, there's not a lot gorier, but just so we're clear, like there's CG elements. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like they add all these.
Yeah, and we
other
tried to
elements.
combine that. So like we saw the photos on set of you with like the green screen here. So like
Yeah.
perfect. That's exactly where you get stabbed in Scream. So we're like, let's integrate that.
It's so smart.
Because we had this plan when we came that February.
Oh, you did?
And we were like, yeah, this was always from the beginning when we were drawing these up. We're like, we're not going to tell Matt till the day of.
Oh, that's
and then
so
they're like
good.
announcing Scream 7. And you're like, I'm going to be in it. And we're like, oh no, they're going to look like we did that because of this. But we were doing this way before.
Yeah. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, I have to say, I see builds all the time. I mean, we're at cons and at conventions, we have kids come through and adults come through, all these people come through, but I've never seen a mashup. It's so smart. It's so fun. It's like so great.
High five.
We did it.
Like scary movies? What's your favorite scary movie?
Wake up, children! I have something for you to play with! This is gonna be so much fun!
Surprise, Sydney.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
It was fun.
It's a Scream, baby! I'll be right back! I always come back.
Here's a sneak peek of our next video, which is a cosplay that involves our first ever bald cat.
Hey!
Dude, you're Lex Luthor!
Bye!
Bye!
See you next time on The Geek Garage.